Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, we are on the cusp of a new experience. Tomorrow morning, the government is supposed to open up again. I have a serious problem with this. No, not that the government is opening up, but that the government closed down to begin with. What is wrong with this picture? You see, I've done many things in my life. I like to consider the thought that I've basically lived 4 or 5 different lives. You know, when I was young, I did what I was when I was young, but then when I got out of school, the first thing I did was I became a hobo and hitchhiked around the country for a couple of years. Then I came down here, became a commercial fisherman, ran fishing boats as a captain. I went offshore, worked in the oil patch, went deep sea. I've done many different things in my life, but the one thing I have never done is expect myself as a leader to have the people who are working with me or for me be responsible to come to work, do the things that they were supposed to do without my taking responsibility to make sure that they had the resources they need to do that job. Well, unfortunately, those powers that be in Washington don't necessarily think this way. They think it's all right to close the government down because I didn't get my way. If you don't give me what I want, I'm going to shut it down. Not a good thing. Now, I think that this is not really the problem. This is just a symptom of the problem. What I think is a part of the problem is the definition that we have given, or the name that we have given to the powers that be in Washington, the Congress and the Senate. What do we call these people? We call them lawmakers. Now, it doesn't matter how corrupt somebody is. Somewhere deep, deep, deep down in their subconscious, they have this little spark that you might call conscience, where they're actually thinking that I'm up here, I'm a lawmaker, I'm getting paid all this money and getting all these benefits. That means I need to do something. Well, I'm a lawmaker. What can I do? Well, I got to make a law. I got to change the law. I got to do something to earn my keep. I think that's not going to work. That's why we have so much trouble in our government. Now, an interesting fact that I found out from a friend of mine who was in politics for a little while. He was in the Republican Party, whether you agree with that or not, doesn't matter. I think both parties are about the same. The major parties are about the same. But he asked a simple question to every potential candidate that he met. When was the last time you read the American Constitution? And you know what the answer was? 99% of the time, I have never read the American Constitution. Hold on a minute! These guys swore when they went into office that they would uphold the Constitution. How can you uphold something if you have never seen it? It doesn't make sense. So, that could be a potential problem. My solution? Maybe we shouldn't call them lawmakers. Maybe we should call them law abiders. Maybe we could call them even law followers. Whatever. But something to get them back on their proper track. Well, luckily, I heard on the news as I was coming to Toastmasters, they're going to be opening the government back tomorrow. And they actually admitted, some of the people, they admitted, it's a mistake that we shut down the government, but it's better that we shut down the government than we have all these poor people that blah, 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 boo-hoo-hoo, whatever. Right? But they actually know that it was a mistake. So, I have a petition that I would like to present to you. Because we could be the cusp of a new era. If the American people would just get out. Maybe if you haven't done it before, maybe read the Constitution, get some idea. It's not that big of paper. It ain't gonna take you that long. But read the Constitution, some of the amendments, and then when you go to vote, don't look at the party line. Look at the person that you're voting for. Look at your own personal standards, your own personal principles, and say, does this person actually believe the same things that I do? Probably not. Probably nobody does, but which one is the closest to what I believe? And then whatever party is for, doesn't matter, vote your conscience. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lawrence. The next speaker for tonight will be doing project number 3 out of the interpretive reading manual. And it's entitled The Monodrama, and it's a 5 to 7 minute speech. And the speaker for tonight is Maurice.
Yay. How can I help you?
Just move it this way a little bit.
You can grab the other side.
Oh, yes. Okay, put that chair right there, and I'll just use this chair. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guest, as an introduction to this monodrama will have 3 scenes. 1 at the office, 2 at the house, and 3 at the hospital. The setting will be the last work day before Christmas. And this won't have a definite conclusion, but it will have an implied conclusion which can be open to interpretation. The main character will be going through some struggles. And then the other characters are implied, because doing the monodrama, I'll be talking to the other implied characters. Hello, how you doing, boss? I'm doing fine. So what do you have for me? Well, thank you for the compliment that I did good on this last project. And I should be completely done before close of business today. So what is it that you have to tell me? What? My services will no longer be required? Why? Did I do anything wrong? Is there any way we can resolve this? No? Will I be replaced, or who will I be replaced by here? Okay, I understand. That's, you don't have to tell me. So does that mean I won't get a Christmas bonus? Okay, so there's nothing else I can do. I just don't understand what I did wrong. I thought I was on the cusp of getting to something bigger and better, but I guess I understand. Thank you. Scene number 2 will be at the house. Come in. Have a seat. How are you doing? That's great. How am I doing? Well, not so good right now. I just lost my job, and I don't know what I'm going to do next. So, what are you going to do for Christmas? Okay, visit family and friends. That's good. Oh, you have some other news to tell me? What is it? What? He's sick in a hospital? Possibly terminal? Wow, that's bad. We have to go visit him. Let's go. Scene number 3 will be at the hospital. Oh, hello. How is he doing? Oh, not doing so good? Wow, what kind of sickness does he have? Oh, that's terrible. I know that he can make it. I know he can pull through. Oh, excuse me, doctor. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, what is it? Oh, you're going to try an experimental treatment for him? Oh, it is promising? Okay, well, I have faith in you, doctor. Hold, let me get my phone. Hello? I'm doing fine. What? Oh, there's a potential opportunity for me next year? That sounds good. I guess sometime before the new year or just after the new year, we can talk about more of the details. Thank you. Bye. Oh, okay. Excuse me, doctor. Okay, so this treatment may present promising results. Hey, that's good. Okay. Bye. At this time, we'll go into our table topics. And our table topics master is Yu Ying.
honored guest. This section is a table topic. Which is I have several pictures. I would like the volunteer to share your feeling when you saw the picture. When you see the picture, your feeling and your thought. Okay, who is the volunteer? Okay.
All right.
Okay, I give you a choice. You can choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just pick the first one.
Make. Okay.
All right. Thank
No,
you.
I mean the picture. You can choose. You like.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with this first one, and this first picture is of a nice, I guess, a lady model of some high heel shoes. And I'm not in particular going to talk about high heels. I don't personally wear them, but I do actually have way more shoes than I ever thought I should have. And I found this out more recently than not. And I guess what I've come to realize is that I never really throw anything away. And another opportunity comes up to get shoes where for work they get us boots every year, and then every once in a while I see a new gym shoe that I really want, that I really want to use and be able to train with. And so I go out and I get all of these different shoes, and then me never throwing anything away, never wanting to give up any of my old clothes or anything, I end up with a closet which is just full of everything. And I wouldn't consider myself a hoarder in any way, but I do think it's ridiculous that me of all people probably has like 8 or 9 pairs of shoes. That seems to me to be rather superfluous, and I feel that I may be on the cusp of something rather ridiculous. So this picture to me reminds me of the excess that I have in my closet, and who knows, maybe we'll make a trip to Goodwill and I'll do something about it. So thank you.
Yes. While you're talking, I remember the film, the movie named First Again. And he talked to the lady. He thought it's comfortable, but the lady said, I'm 50 years old. Okay, next volunteer. Okay, so I have several pictures. I would like to share about what you're thinking and the feeling.
So just whatever you see.
Yeah, each one you like, but not this one. You can choose,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to say what this picture reminds me of?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Greetings, Toastmasters and guests. I'm a guest myself. This is only my second time, so this picture, it's a picture of a lot of people talking. They have like speech bubbles above them. So what it reminds me of is people communicating. When I think of people communicating, I think of how technology is so prevalent in our communication today. That's just what it reminds me of, and something relevant to the communication that I feel like this picture represents would be one resolution I made this year. I know got some table topics last time about resolutions, so it's kind of related to that as well. But one resolution I have this year is to use my phone less. We go throughout the day always checking it, and it's really invasive in our lives. So I'm trying to use mine less, and so I guess that's one thing this picture represents to me, is just people communicating, and reminds me of one way that I frequently communicate. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the next one. Okay. On and test. Rosemary. So you can choose one.
Okay. Oh, 1 out of 5. this picture. And I just start talking. Okay. Hello, Toastmasters and fellow guests. I'm a guest as well. It's my first time at a Toastmaster meeting ever. But when I see this picture, I just feel a sense of peace. I love the outdoors, and I love hiking, I love swimming, and I actually moved here from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm from Mobile, but I've been living in Fayetteville, and up there, everyone is very outdoorsy. It's the status quo. I had a 10-minute walk to a hiking spot in 3 different directions, and I've been wanting to go camping a lot lately, just to kind of center myself, you know, like whenever you're feeling kind of crazy or just like, okay, something's a little bit off balance. I've been wanting to go camping really badly. So this picture really, I guess, resonated with me, and just the simplicity and the desire that I want to actually be in this location. So yeah, that's
Thank you. Okay, well, all of you, or we can stop? What time?
23, we got time for more.
Okay. So just pick a picture and
Yeah.
fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I have a picture of a person wearing 2 worn out shoes. This reminds me of someone who's walked or run a long road. It shows the results of the struggles that the person went through. And the statement of, if you walked a mile in my shoes, well, walking a mile or running a mile in this person's shoes, they went through a lot. Either that, or these shoes might be relatively new and real cheap quality. But I think this person may have the same problem as Mike. You know, you just can't get rid of the old shoes. Topic master.
Okay, we can stop. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you. At this time, we'll go into our evaluation period. And our general evaluator for tonight is Lawrence.
So far, we've had a really good meeting. I'm really glad that both of our guests got up and did a table topics. That's a very good, very promising start. I came in late, and apparently we started on time and then put a delay in the start of the meeting, and it started 5 minutes late, but we've been rolling along quite nicely. So at this point, I would like to give an opportunity to our evaluators. One thing I would like to mention for the new people is one of the systems that we like to use in evaluation is the sandwich system. So a lot of times when you're giving an evaluation, you can explain to give somebody positive feedback, and then maybe find something that they could do better. And then close it with also some positive point that so they can go out not only having something they can look forward to changing, but also some of the good things that they did. So with that, I would like to introduce our first evaluator, whose name is not on here. so I'm not sure who that is. Who's our first evaluator?
Well, Mike is the one who
Okay, Mike, you're going to evaluate my impromptu speech, and
So actually, I think we only have one evaluator, and I evaluated Maurice's speech. I don't think
so you
anyone,
evaluated both of them, or did nobody evaluated me?
I don't think anyone.
Okay, well that's fine.
But I mean, I can give it a shot.
Anybody, okay, you can give it a try. You can just give me an idea of how you felt about what I said.
Okay. All right. Well.
I saw you taking notes, so it couldn't have been, you were doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. Sure. I'll go up there. This might be short because I didn't prepare. Well, I didn't prepare much.
Well, you know, we could just go around and ask anybody if they have any points they want to go through, if you want to do that too.
Let's do that.
Yeah, seeing as nobody gave a real evaluation, so
Okay.
you can give us what you think right quickly, because you said it was real short.
Sure.
What did you think about that impromptu speech?
Well, I very much enjoyed your speech. I thought, first and foremost, it was very relevant. And the topic of any speech, of course, is very important to have your audience interested. So I thought immediately everyone was very focused, very attentive to the speech. I thought you did a great job of holding everyone's attention and also taking everyone through your own personal journey a little bit as well, because I think one great mechanism speakers can do is help the audience see things from their own point of view. And I thought Lawrence did a great job in that. It's hard to use the sandwich method because I suppose it's hard for me to find much for criticism with the speech. But I would say, given with any impromptu speaking, I think it's easy to have not the easiest structure, right? I think a lot of speeches, there's a main idea, there's cohesive topics, usually around the power of three is a great principle to use. And I think I wasn't perhaps able to define the supporting statements distinctly all the time from the main point. But all that being said, I very much enjoyed your speech. I thought you did a great job of getting your point across. And I think everyone very much enjoyed it. So thank you, Lawrence.
Okay, good. Does anybody else have any comments that anything they liked or they thought could be improved? Sure.
I would just like to add that I don't have a thing to improve on for you that I heard, besides maybe one thing that he said, but I was impressed how you were able to tie everything in your speech together. I thought it really made sense. I thought you did a good job in your conclusion, bringing everything together. So I was kind of listening for the ums and the ahs, and I didn't really hear any of those either. So that's what I would have to say.
I've been bad at those lately. I got one point, I completely got them out of my speeches, and then all of a sudden, I guess something clicked in the new millennium, and all of a sudden they started coming back. So,
As a spoiler, you did have one
yeah, I figured I'd have some. Anybody else have anything that they would like to say before we go into our second evaluation? Nope. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your input, and hopefully I can use that to move forward in my speaking abilities. I'd like to introduce, I'm going to be up here to evaluate Maurice's solo performance.
All right. Thank you. All right. Good evening again, Toastmasters and guests, me also being a guest. I evaluated Maurice's speech this evening entitled A Day in the Life. And in this evaluation, I see that this is the evaluation guide for a monodrama. And I regretfully can't even say that I knew what a monodrama was coming into tonight. But I clearly found through Maurice's actions, through his great dialogue, that it's enacting full-out scenes all by herself, which just instinctively to me seems like that must be the most difficult thing to do. I mean, personally, I think that acting in general, I've never had much of a talent for it, but to act a scene on your own without looking for any feedback, being distracted by any audience, anything at all, anything to establish that sort of connection, I feel like would just be so very difficult for me. So a few things that I thought that Maurice did amazing is, I thought that Maurice did a great job of establishing an effective setting. He very clearly described what was going to be going on. He took us through that there was going to be 3 scenes, that there was going to be a source of conflict. He really prepared all of us for everything that Maurice was going to do. Second, I thought Maurice did a great job of letting emotion drive this monodrama. As the name describes, a monodrama, all about conflict, all about internal struggle, and I thought Maurice did a great job of conveying that to the audience. And then third, I thought, well, okay, so within that, I'd say the only thing that I thought that Maurice might have been able to improve on just a little bit is that Maurice did a great job of conveying this drama, but I thought that maybe in a scene or a group of scenes like this, that there would be a great emphasis on a particular climax, right? That maybe in a very particular part there'd be just marginally longer pauses to really have the audience build suspense to where they wouldn't know what would come next. That it really, that there would be a focal point that would really gather everyone's attention, that would maybe not sum everything up, but sort of have one particular action in a scene that everyone would think back to in remembrance. But all that being said, I thought that the clarity was excellent in this monodrama. I thought that there were plenty of great scenes that really took us to the cusp of our emotional threshold. And I thought Maurice, all in all, took us through a very entertaining journey, and I very much enjoyed it. So thank you.
Actually, I very much like this also. One thing that I thought, similar to what he was saying, is somehow to bring the whole thing to a climax at the end, instead of just, oh, that's the end.
Right, right.
So it didn't really have a conclusion. There was no brought up. But I was quite impressed by how much you were able to convey emotion. You know, the look on your face when it's like, I'm being fired. You know, it's like, no, that's not right. Now, the one thing that was kind of suspenseful was when your friend came in at the house. My first thought was going to be, that guy got your job. And so that twist in there was kind of a little bit different than what I was expecting. But anyways, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful production. I like that. Okay, next I would like to get our timers report.
For the speech, Lawrence used 6 minutes of 56 seconds. Maurice is 6 minutes 7 seconds. The table topic, Mike, is 1 minute 34 seconds. Jonathan is 1 minute 10 seconds. Rosemary is 1 minute 18 seconds. Maurice is 1 minute 9 seconds. The evaluator is for the Maurice, might use 3 minutes 3 seconds.
Okay, very good. And now I'd like to get an evaluation by our grammarian.
All right. As grammarian, Maurice as Toastmaster and as speaker did not use or at all, but also did not use the word of the day. Lawrence had one
He did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, when I was about to get fired.
Oh, yeah.
But that's okay.
I
Yeah.
totally missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So engrossed in the speech, he forgot to pick up the word of the day.
I stand evaluated. Okay. So Lawrence had one and used cusp twice in his speech. Let's see. I use the word of the day once as an evaluator and once in the table topics. And then Jonathan used, well, first off, great job to both of the new guests. They did use some crutch words. Jonathan used an 4 times, and you also used the crutch word so a couple times.
I realized that one. Sure.
And for me, when I first joined Toastmasters, I didn't realize how much I used the crutch word you know. And I say that before, I used to say it before everything, and now I like to think I've gotten a little bit better. But Rosemary did use an 8 times, but still a great job.
Very good.
And that is all I've got for the preliminary report.
Okay, looks like we're still moving along on schedule. And so I will now relinquish the lectern back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you. I assume that there's no educational overview.
I can do one. I'm listed to do it, so I
Oh,
can do
you are
that if
listed.
you want me to.
Okay.
We do have time, right?
Yes, about 7, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can do it.
Okay, educational overview will be conducted by Lawrence.
All right.
Good news. We have now found out that we are going to be getting the Pathways program here in May. So we will start, the Pathways is a new educational program that Toastmasters International has spent the last number of years revising our educational program. Right now we have individual books. You do one, which is the Competent Communicator, which is 10 speeches that helps you to develop your introduction to speaking, basically. 10 speeches that will introduce you to the basics of speaking. Everything from body language, vocal variety, eye contact, research, etc., etc., etc. The outlining the speech, etc. All that stuff in the first one. And then after you get done with that, you choose different books based on your personal desire. What you want to learn, what you want to perfect. But the new Pathways program is going to be a little bit different, because what's going to happen is when you get in the Pathways program, you'll go online and you'll do a little survey. And based on that survey, it will recommend paths for you to follow. So say, for instance, you're an engineer and an entrepreneur starting your own business. Well, there's a whole path of technical presentations. There's another path on professional speaking. There's another path on various different things. There's 17, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Don't take that to the bank, but I think there's like 17 paths that you can follow. And so although you're getting awards as you go through, just like you would with the current program, your path is set, and I mean you can deviate from it, but it's a path that's set to reach the goals that you want to do. So everybody will be doing similar to the first 10 speeches. But then after that, the different groupings of speeches will be based on what your preference is, whether it's technical speaking or comedy or blogging. That's going to be that's what one they're going to be doing, is blogging, with video blogging. So there's a whole path on how to do video blogging. So, you know, if you want to become the next internet sensation, well, Toastmasters will be able to help you to get there. So we're going to be opening up our ability to get into that program in May, and then we will still have another 2 years to finish up any program that we're working on currently. So we don't have to just drop everything we're doing and start over. We can finish up whatever program we're in and move forward from there. And this club has a little bit of a bonus, because one of our club members is going to actually be the Pathways Guide. So we'll have somebody in the club who is going to be able to help on a weekly basis, should the necessity be there. So, welcome to Pathways, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Lawrence. And I was waiting for that, the answer to my question, how long can we stay on the current program? And you answered it. Okay, there are no awards for tonight. With that, as Toastmaster, I will relinquish the lectern back to the president. And if there's, thank you, if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
All right.
So Rosemary, how did you find out about Toastmasters?
Okay, I'll just give this back to you so you can fill out the roles.
When I was working in Little Rock, I guess, and I
Got my
filled in
email?
the Toastmasters.
I did.
I did